What's up, guys? ZFarls here with Madden 18 Ultimate Team ratings. Not that play now 99 Tom Brady. This is actual base elite, core elite items we're going to talk about here with some stats, some legends we're going to go over. I'm going to give you one rule that I use to try and figure out if these early season players are good in certain areas, something that I do. And then, of course, I've got a couple sleepers that we'll dig into. So I'm going to go through these ratings over on MUT. Remember, these are Ultimate Team ratings. First guy up is Cris Carter, and I love the balance on this item. This is a top 5 launch item to me. Great to have him in as a legend this year. 88 speed. Look at the balance between the 91 route running, 89 catching traffic, and 90 spec. Those are phenomenal launch ratings for Cris Carter. Warren Moon, I think, is the best quarterback at the start of the season that we've seen. Look, the one knock on Warren Moon is that his medium accuracy is not as good as Tom Brady's, but Tom Brady's 13 speed slower and doesn't quite have the throw power. I want that throw power early in the season to go deep. I need to hit some deep balls early to take the top off the defense before people kind of figure out how to play those coverages long. So a speedster, I think Warren Moon will go a long way. I like to check out the tackles, even though it's not a sexy position. I just like to see where their strength is. So, like, Munoz is probably going to be the strongest guy in the game. I love his balance. 91 and 89. Normally at the start of the year, I tell you guys to get gold linemen and either go for an all pass block line or an all run block line because that's going to be the most inexpensive way to put together a good line. The reason you see it here is because Munoz has both. He's going to be very, very expensive. So it's a solid item, 91 strength. Keep that number in mind as one of the strongest players in the game, and then him going against defensive tackles and DNs, what's their strength going to be? Then you see a guy like Gronk who only has 77 speed. So this is where I'm going to tell you guys the rule that I use. +7. +7. Sometimes I go with the rule of +10 because you see these items and you're like, man, Gronk only has 77 speed. Odell Beckham only has 91 spec. Von Miller only has 91 block shed. And you think, like, that seems really, really low. But then if you remember the rule of +7 or the rule of +10, you can kind of add those on and see how they would trend, how would they project. It gets you closer to their base ratings, so you can see what type of player they are across the board. It's more the balance that you get to see at this point. It's not the actual number. It's kind of the trend and the core of the item, the essence of each item. You can add +7, and you can kind of get yourself a better sense. So, like, look at Gronk. The strength and the run block are amazing. The catching traffic is good. If his catching traffic was 97, that's what you expect to see. That's his style of things. So that's a little tip and tool that I use at the start of the year until your brain kind of resets from all the 99s out there. Like, you go and look at this D'Angelo Hall. You see he's got 99 speed. I mean, this D'Angelo Hall has everything, and this is what you're used to seeing. He obviously doesn't have good press, but pulled way, way, way back, then you do the whole rule of +7, Vincent Jackson. It gives you a better starting point, in my opinion. But a couple sleeper guys that I want to talk about, or so not necessarily sleepers, but sleeper ratings, things that I like. This Von Miller is actually really, really good. Jimmy Smith is a corner who I'll show you. He has, I believe, 80 zone coverage. So look at this zone coverage on Von Miller. 80 zone coverage. Plus he has finesse move, which is the highest in the game that we've seen for this core elite. And he has 88 power move. That's getting you very close to that early combination. I think 99 is going to be a little bit different this year, but I really like that he has 2 very high moves. Now, he's not the fastest guy or the strongest, but that block shed is going to make up a lot for it. And the ability to drop this guy into zone at 80 at the start of the year is going to be crazy. So I really like that Von Miller, and that's one kind of rating I wanted to show to you guys. Khalil Mack steps in, and I think he was a 97. I think he's like the second best guy out there. Obviously, Clowney's very popular, and I fully expect him because of his size to be there, but I love Max block shed as well, and he's right up there with the 89, 87 moves. It's not the 90 of the Vaughn, so I do have a preference towards the Miller, but I am pretty impressed with what Mac brings to the table. We have to see, remember, he's an end. He's an end in Ultimate Team, it looks like here. In Miller is a backer, so you get to see those zone ratings. So that's my one questionable thing on the Mac, and maybe he gets, you know, another item out of position in Ultimate Team coming up. Eric Weddle, this man coverage at 84. Use the rule of +7 on Eric Weddle. 90 man coverage, 91 man coverage. That would be insane for a strong safety. He's never really going to be that fast, because you use the rule of +7/+8. But if Eric Weddle is, gets an item and gets 2-3 items at the start of the year, and all of a sudden he's at 90 man coverage at strong safety, looking like a Devin McCourty type, that's going to be wild. I mean, 91 zone as a core elite for Weddle is very, very good. The speed's obviously the issue; doesn't have to pop. But as a coverage guy, I like the way this item is trending, especially with some of the defenses we'll be talking about. So I like Eric Weddle, and I usually don't love Eric Weddle, but I think for the way this is going, I like Eric Weddle a lot. Odell Beckham steps in, use the rule of +7. This is an all-out spec style receiver. Good elusive if you use the rule of +7, but I just don't know how his height and his spec, those are just two ratings in Madden that go together, and he doesn't have one or the other. Are you better off going with an AB who's a little more shifty in the slot? If you're really trying to build an ultimate team, if you can only get one receiver, are you better off trying to go for the Julio? We don't know. So I'm always nervous on Odell. I love using him in play now. He's really, really good, especially with Brandon Marshall on the other side. But that's my only beef, potentially, with Odell. Ezekiel Elliott, use the rule. He's an elusive style back, 87 speed. Pretty good. He's the 5th best back out there in regular mode. So good strength. 77 is pretty good. You use the rule of +7 and he's up. Really nice. But he's going to have to go against some really good value budget backs because you'll see he's not great out of the backfield. He's solid, but he's not great. Shifty backs, they're saying, are really, really good with all the moves in this game, so that might be where you want to go. And he might not really be the best guy for that. I like David Johnson, depending on if David Johnson fumbles. It's a different year, different game. Are fumbles a thing? Is David Johnson a thing? That's something that we'll have to find out. So Jamie Collins was one other player I wanted to show you guys. 79 speed, and it's just like you see him at outside backer, you're like, 79 speed. And then you remember, all right, Von Miller's 81. All right, +7, that's 85, 86. Okay, so he's right about where he should be, but he's got good zone, but then with Vaughn already having the zone, that was normally a place he would excel. His block shed's a little bit lower. His strength is hurting him. And with that strength, I want to see him be faster. And then he doesn't quite have the rush move. So I like the Collins as a jack of all trades. But, an Ultimate Team, I'm trying to get one rating really, really, really good. And so unless I'm going to play him in zone, I think I'll be able to find a better option early in the season. But that's up to us to kind of look for. So now we'll just take a look at kind of through some of the rest of the guys. Brandon Graham, 90 power move, 86 finesse. I know last year we used Olivier Vernon, who I'll show you in a second here, but this is really good balance with the speed. Jarrell Casey is the other guy that I like. So I like Vernon and I like Casey. Let me pop these guys up so I can show them to you real quick. Vernon has 89-80, which is good, and he's a little more athletic with 89 block shed, whereas Casey has 81 block shed, which is down quite a bit, but he's really, really slow, but I love his moves. And this is a guy I've always enjoyed using. 86 speed, remember, Munoz is 91 strength at tackle, and he's a right end, so they're potentially going to line up against each other, and that would be against the best lineman in the game. He's only down, 5 strength, 4 strength, and has just enough power move to match up against his 91. So this is why that's a very, very good item. And he usually flies a little bit under the radar. I know he's one of the higher elites now, but I think there's some value potentially in him. I like him more. I would move to get him if I pulled the Graham. The Graham's a little more athletic, so that's kind of the trade-off there. Alex Mack is a guy that I always look to for good run blocking, and it looks like it's going to be another good year of run blocking, specifically for a guy like Mack. He's going to be a little bit more expensive, though, than he's been in years past. A lot of these guys that were sleepers a couple of years ago, you're now seeing them be pretty productive. Zone coverage is 80 for Jimmy Smith, so that's where I see Von Miller at 80, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy for a corner to have that. 6'2", 83 speed. 83 speed, I think, is a speed. Use the rule +7, 89. This is a speed range you're going to see quite a bit of. And I would say the fastest player that we've seen is Tyreek Hill at 90 speed. Remember, he's the second fastest receiver in the game. He was amazingly quick last year. So he's a really good like test of, obviously John Ross potentially won faster than Tyreek Hill. So 90 speed at the start of the year is going to be basically as fast. We saw Munoz 91 strength. We saw Tyreek Hill 90 speed. Those are the numbers that we're looking for. Use the rule, +7, +10. Like that level is kind of what we're talking about. He doesn't have much else except straight speed, and he's 81, which makes him the lead. I think you're going to be able to get a little bit cheaper speed without him doing too much. Maybe get a Tavon Austin. We'll have to see who we can find to do that job, because I think he'll end up costing quite a bit. He was such a good sleeper last year, but obviously I think people have caught on to the Tyreek Hill show. Anthony Barr is a great user. Remember, I read in a blog that user linebackers will be tougher to control unless they have very elite ratings. 82 speed is slow for Barr, but the 83 agility actually makes me happy, because usually I feel like Barr's fast, but with a little bit lower agility. He should be able to maintain a pretty nice move with this. I like that you're not paying extra for the rushing moves, because you're not really going to use it. The hit power is good. Strength has always been low, but it's never really been a problem while using. Still 6'5", and good hit power. Use the rule of +7, +10. You're right up at 90, and I love that you're not paying extra for much else besides some of the speed. So like this Barr as another good year of potential user. Nate Solder, he's balanced, but he's a little bit, you look at Munoz at peak, 91, 90, you're seeing 84, 80. These are the ratings I think most players will achieve after about 2 weeks in a bundle or so. Like you'll end up with most of your guys, your corners 84 speed. That's kind of, I think, where it's going to end up being the sweet spot for most guys, and you should be able to get it done. But hopefully, if you then plug in a guy who has one, rating that's not an 84 that you're getting value at, like a LeGarrette Blount who has 90 truck, use the rule of 7, use the rule of 10. Like, you're going to have a guy with 100 truck, essentially. Really, really nice right here. His speed, not at that 84, not at that kind of arc level, a little bit lower, but the truck is higher. And those are the players I like to find and throw into the lineup. Terrence Newman, pretty good man, but much, much slower than years past. Not going to be an item I'm going to go after because of his age. So I do have some sleeper man cover corners that I like, but you'll have to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to put those out in a future video once we see more ratings. Cyprian has been getting much, much better over time. And 83 speed, like this is a standard item, and you got to kind of start to think of this once again as your baseline. Always been solid. 81 speed, that seems slow, but that's kind of where you're at with safeties. We've seen that now with Weddle, so use the rule +7, kind of figure out where everybody stands. And then you have Hightower, 78 speed. That's kind of where you're at. It's just where you're at. It's just something you'll get comfortable with over time. Love Tyreek Hill for some speed, but I think you're going to be able to get a cheaper guy. Barr, if you can just pull him one time and he can be your middle of the defensive guy. I like it a lot. Casey, if you don't mind a little bit of lack of athleticism, I think Von Miller's the guy you try and target for zone. Can't wait to see what a guy like Sean Lee flies in at zone coverage-wise. DRC, 87 speed, 91 man. That's a guy you go get. But look, now he's 89. He's just gonna be not just gonna be a guy that's available. Like he's gonna have the guy you specifically target if you want to play that style. But I love a guy like DRC. Whereas Sherman, look at the difference. 87 speed, 91 man. 83 speed, 90 zone. So you're getting slower athleticism, but more elite technique in the zone coverage. I'm personally always gonna go with a guy like DRC because I like the athleticism, whereas Sherman, he has the size, but DRC has it as well. And then you get the zone. That's not the style I think I'm going to play. Sue, strongest player in the game, 91 strength. Similar to Tyreek Hill, similar to John Ross, similar to Munoz. That's what we're talking about. Use the rule, +7, +10. That's where you're at. So hopefully that rule makes sense to you guys. Cam Chancellor's the best safety, and he only flies in at 88. With big time zone coverage and 91 hit power. That's peak. 91, boys. 84 average, 91 peak. Let me know who you like in the comments. We'll talk Clowney. Clowney or Barr, who's better? Whew. Let's dive in and see. And then Larry Fitz, how slow did they make him? 80 speed. That's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good with 91 catching traffic. That's peak. That's peak. I like him out there. So Clowney or Barr. 82 speed on Clowney, 80 agility, 88 block shed strength. So I actually think Clowney's going to be better doing his own thing. He's a left end. He's a left end, so I don't even know if you'll be able to really get him in all the positions you would want him to be. You could rig it, you could move him, you could sub him. I get it. But I think Barr, for that reason, is a little bit better. And then you're not actually wasting some of these pass rushing moves that Clowney still has with the block shed and the hit power on his own. Does he have the trait? We'll have to find out, see if he has... He has big hitter trait, so he's AI, so he can hit stick. So you don't use your Clowney this year. Nope, that's what I'm saying right now. You use your Barr over Clowney. I'm putting that down on paper. Hopefully I'm right, because I hate being wrong. Sean Lee has 87 zone, dude. Absurd zone coverage at the start. Use the rule +7. That's not good. That's wild. That's almost too wild with 85 block shed. A little bit slower, but I mean that's Kuechly level. That's peak. That's almost peak for a linebacker. Von Miller, eat your heart out. 82 man's amazing. That's 78 speeds. It's a little questionable, but 82 man plus that's wild. That's wild. And you're gonna need linebackers to play man, I think, because I think you're going to have trouble if you put all CBs out there running against dollar. I think you're not going to have as much success in those quarters formations running it. So you're going to want a couple linebackers out there. And if you choose to play man, then you need a guy that can play man. Maybe Sean Lee could be that guy for you. But these are the players we're going to figure out, we're going to target. It's cool to see these early ratings. I know a lot of people were gushing over Marshall Faulk. They really like what he brings to the table with his speed, 87. That's 3 above average. David Johnson's right up there, 90 elusive. Marshall Faulk has 88 elusive. So I think the David Johnson, let's take a look at their route running, because they both should have pretty darn good route running. But if the David Johnson, we need to make sure he doesn't fumble. 79 route running on DJ, and then 81 on Marshall. So he's a little bit better out of the backfield. They get a little more acceleration from him. I think the strength on David Johnson is awesome, but and you get a little bit more loose. I'm probably gonna be a David Johnson guy until he fumbles. But I know most people are saying that the Faulk is much better. So let me know who you think is the move in the comments. Hopefully this video just gives you kind of some hype and some action in getting some of the Ultimate Team ratings, guys. This is fun time of the year, great season. If I missed anybody, let me know in the comments. I didn't want to go over everybody, but I kind of just did. So let me know if my +7 rule makes sense in your mind, so you can see where everybody falls in at. And we'll talk again soon. Until next time, guys, let me know who you're excited about trying to go after day one, and we'll talk more when we get more ratings, all right? I'll give you more sleepers on the channel, so press that little subscribe button. Free Madden tips all year. Beat your friends. They'll be flying out on this channel. That's all you got to do is click it, and then it'll let you know when we got a video coming out. It's going to be firing up, all right, guys? Until next time, this is Farls for Madden 18. Lock up.